close. Today I'm going to show you the 20 kilowatt Briggs Stratton whole house generator. Now Briggs Stratton makes the generator for a lot of companies. This one had a sticker for Rheem. They make it for GE as well, the GE 20 kilowatt generator. That actually has more features in the transfer switch. But the engine is the same. Looking at this, this is really the gem of the engine, of the generator. It's a Vanguard 993cc commercial power engine. It really is used in many commercial products, washers, other products, lawn mowers, big mowers. It's very good. If you saw my other video, I had the portable generator. The one thing that was actually good about that, and perhaps even better than this, is it was very simple. It just was a small engine, a manual transfer switch. There was nothing you could possibly go wrong. One thing that this has is more safety systems. For instance, with the portable generator, if there was something off with the hertz or the voltage, it could fry important or expensive appliances in your house. This won't do that. It's constantly checking the voltage. It's protecting you. It won't send power to the house unless it knows that the quality of the power is good. Now let's get a look at this. This is it's a 20 kilowatt generator. Of course, that's on propane. On natural gas, it's only 18 kilowatts. If you can see down here, it's basically just an alternator and an engine. Looking at the engine. You can look around here. The engine, this is some kind of coolant actually, probably an oil coolant. Here's the oil filter. Here's the Vanguard engine. You can't really see in the back. I added in the back, perhaps you can see in the back, I'll just grab this, an oil, the cold weather kit, which is, I think it's a 6030A model. It includes it heats up the oil, and it also has, if you can see over here, look over here, it included this underneath. You can't really see, this is the insulation, but underneath is a warming pad for the battery. This is a car battery. Actually, it came off, my sister's car was flooded in Sandy, and the water came up to about the battery. It destroyed the car, but I was able to save the battery, slowly charge it, and the battery's, it was a brand new car, so it was a brand new battery. You can look over here, looking over here, let me just show you closely. This is the programming button. The nice thing about this generator, better than the Generac, is that you can program this, for instance, on the Generac, let's say you want it to go on Wednesday at 11 o'clock. You have to be outside Wednesday at 11 o'clock, start it up, and then it'll always run at Wednesday at 11 o'clock. Here you can program it to say, go on, you put in the date, you tell it the date, the time, the month, the year. It knows daylight savings time, and you say Wednesday at 11 o'clock, that's it. That's all you have to do. Over here is a USB port for a technician to read it, and as well as a fuse. The other thing to know is, first of all, most of the important electronics are over here. If you can you go around the other side? Go around me on this side. If you can get a close-up in here. Here's one circuit board, and there's another circuit board over there. Can you see over there? Now, I was having a problem with my generator, and the problem was that it was starting, and it would just shut off, and it would give me an error with the transfer switch, low voltage error. And what I did is I took apart this area here, and I noticed that one of the wires was off. So I reconnected the wire. It was labeled, and I reconnected it. For instance, this says 006, and on the circuit board it said 6. So I reconnected that black wire, and voila, problem solved. Here you can see the generator is generating 240 volts. It's two hot lines, 120 volts, 120 volts. The wire that I used for this is 3 different types of wire. The first wire I used is to carry the voltage. This is what's called 4/3 with ground, which means it's 4 gauge wiring. There are 3 of them, 2 hots and a neutral, plus a ground. But you could also order something called 4/4, which would mean there's two hots and neutral, and a ground would be the same thickness and coated. It's a lot cheaper to get the 4/3, which is 4-gauge 3 wires, and the uncoated ground, which is fine. It's the wire is much cheaper. I also have to get, I put in, where is it? Here. These two utility wires. Can you get a close-up? Utility A and B. Utility A and B is this over here. Let's get a utility A and B. What that is, that's the utility wires. That's 12/3 wire, which is 2 hots. That's hooked into the transfer switch. It's hooked into the power coming into the house. And that also, I got 12/3 even though it wasn't necessary because I wanted to have an extra neutral and a ground. So it thickened up the ground, which is a little thinner than the rest of the wires, and it added another neutral. And the one trick I learned from the electrician is, just so you should know, is when you're connecting wires that are thicker and thinner to the same connector, you want to take the thinner wire and strip more of it and bend it over and then screw it in. So this way it's a thicker, the smaller wire is actually thicker because it's doubled over and connects well. Okay, so the other wire, the third wire that I got was called a 18/5 wire. And if you can grab over here, you can see I used 4 of them. It was sprinkler wire. It's used for underground, that you can bury it underground. I used 4 of the 5 wires. 2 communicate with the transfer switch, and 2 are for a monitor in the house for errors. You can see the motor. That's the muffler. We'll start it up here so you can hear it start up. Move it back. The other one thing I wanted to mention is it's a good thing to download all of the manuals, not just the Briggs Stratton, but also the GE and the Rheem. Because I found an undocumented, something that was not documented in the Briggs Stratton manual, but was documented in the Rheem manual. And it turned out to be very important. If you there's a general setup screen that you get by hitting the 2 arrow keys. And that lets you set date and time and when you want to exercise. The other thing, which is not documented, is if you hold on to the arrow left, arrow right, and here it says like return, which here is escape. You hold on to these 2 arrows and escape, it gets you into the advanced menu, which will say kilowatts. It'll tell you how many kilowatts this generator is supposed to generate. Now, for some reason, this generator was set to generate only 16 kilowatts. Even though it's a 20 kilowatt generator. I changed it to 18 kilowatts because I know on natural gas that's the most it should produce. And again, that's probably a safety. You're telling it how much it should produce, it'll know how much it's producing, and it may just, and this way it knows if it's overloaded, it'll shut down. The other thing is, it also shows you the hertz. You want to make sure it's set to 60 hertz, single phase, 240 volts, and the other thing is there's something called a stepper motor check. If you think there's something with the throttle, this will let you test it out. And just make sure you don't change it, obviously, from 240 volts to 300 volts or something else that really could damage it. Okay, now I'll show you how it starts, and then we'll go through the emergency system. The only problem is, you see it's hooked up to, this is a 1-inch gas line. I'm actually not convinced that that's large enough. It goes for about 35 feet into the meter. But basically, in this house, we only have a 1-inch gas line, and then the meter brings it up to 1 1/4 inch, and then it goes back out to 1 inch here. It may not be enough to run the whole house. I don't know. We can test that today. Also, if you can look over here, there's that's an emergency shutoff. It shuts off the gas. It's made to be outside, but in case there's a fire, it'll shut it off. And by the way, I put this insulation on just to keep it warmer in the winter. You can see this is part of the battery warmer. If it drops below 32, it turns on. Okay, so we'll turn it on, and then we'll turn it on manually and then automatically. Just don't want to, hold on. I just want to tighten down this area. I don't want it to short out. I took it apart to show it to you. Let's just put these 2 screws in so it tightens up the keypad. let's see what's happening now. Let's turn it on. We'll turn it on manual. Come close over here. Get a good shot over here. Okay, you ready? Think. Wait, let's turn it off. Now, how do you do that? Shut it off. It's obviously lower with the cover on, but we're going to run it without the cover on. Let's put it in auto mode. Now it says generator ready, and we'll go inside. We'll show you what's happening inside, and we'll put it on and see if it can run the ACs. Let's go. Come on, yeah, come. Okay. Let's go downstairs. Okay. Hold. No. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit of the installation. This was our original fuse box. You can see it's pretty well populated. What we did was this. Come closer. Now, generally, you see how much room you have? This is the transfer switch. You see how much room you have in here? You generally want to run the wires with a pipe into here, through the transfer switch, and then out into the fuse box. This, by the way, is the generator warning light. This is connected to two wires. It tells you whether there's a low battery voltage, low oil pressure, low voltage, engine doesn't start. It flashes if there's a problem. Right now, it's on. It shows you there's no problems. Now, so you generally want to run the power going back. You want to run it through here, and then through the transmission, and then through here. Of course, in life you make compromises, and we already had the pipe going in here. So what my electrician did was, he took the two wires, the two hots, the black and the red, and instead of running them directly into the fuse box, we extended them. In other words, they come from here, they go into this. This is attached to that. It goes up through here and then into the transfer switch. So we're intercepting. It's not going directly in here. It's coming here, going over here, and then into this. It goes in over here. This is where it comes in from the line. So the line power from the meter goes here, here, and goes in here. Now, that's where the line power goes. This is from the generator. These two wires. Let me grab it. These two wires over here are the generator wires. Again, it comes in from the meter. This comes in from the generator. And you can see this is basically a magnet with wires on it. This is measuring the current being pulled into the generator. The transfer switch is measuring that current. And it knows, for instance, since it's programmed for 18 kilowatts, if it starts pulling around 18 kilowatts, it's going to say, problem, shut off the generator, it's not safe. That's what it does. Or if the power's too low coming in, it'll sense it through this, and it'll say, danger, danger, shut it off. Shut off the generator, don't let it run. Okay, so this is power coming from the generator, and the transfer switch chooses which power is gonna be fed back into the fuse box. So here's the power coming in from the meter, and here's the power coming in from the generator here. And then at the bottom here, if you can see it, this goes back into the fuse box. So this is going to choose where the power is coming from. Now, over here is the circuit board on the transfer switch. And there's a few things you need to know. First of all, there are dip switches here. Where are they? I can't really see them. I don't know. Even I don't see them. But, oh, here they are. All the way in there. I don't think you can see it. You can see them over here. Yeah. Over here, there are dip switches. You have to make sure you program them to tell you how big your generator is. So the transfer switch also knows how big the generator is. So if it's 18 kil, it's not clear. The instructions are really not good. But I assume that a 20 kilowatt generator, I know it only puts out about 18.4 kilowatts. So I clicked off one 10 kilowatt one switch, and the other one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You click on one on each, 1 10, one on the 8, and that's 18 kilowatts. Now, the thing to be careful about is, for some reason, when you mount this transfer switch, somehow it changes those dip switches can get flipped. Just the pressure of putting it on, banging it on, it switch those switches, so you have to be careful. The other thing is, this has over here, down here, if you can see, it says 5-ton. That controls my 5-ton air conditioning unit. This is a normally closed relay. And what it does is, when the power goes on here, it won't allow the air conditioner, the main air conditioner, to go on until what it'll do is it'll try to start everything else, make sure everything else is running properly, and then it'll check if it has enough power to turn on that air conditioner, the main air conditioner. If it turns it on and it sees it's getting overloaded, it's intelligent, and it'll disconnect it and won't let it start. So at least it can power your main things. Now, the thing to know is there are 2 of them on here. And for some reason, the second unit, it says it's for 110 volt. I tried running it from my other air conditioner, the 3.5-ton unit, but I couldn't get it to work. It's not normally closed. I don't know what it is. I tried it with my multimeter, but it didn't work. It's not normally closed, the second thing. So don't think that with this unit that you can run 2 of them on this circuit board, as options. One of them, so what I did was, my 3.5-ton is always connected to the system. It goes on when the power goes on, and only this 5-ton unit is on this is option. The transistor will check to see whether it can turn it on. If you need more, get the GE. If you have a couple of air conditioning units, get the GE. It has these units you can put near any air conditioner blower around the house. It'll remotely communicate with it, and it'll be able to handle multiple AC units. Otherwise, it's all the same, the GE and this system. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to test this out. The other thing is, there's one other setting. You can program it to transfer over. When the power goes out, it waits 10 seconds. The generator turns on. It then waits before it transfers over. I have it programmed. There's a switch. I have it programmed to turn on. It would let it heat up for 50 seconds because I want, on the cold days, I want the generator to really warm up before it transfers power over. That's a personal preference. It's kind of like, do you start your car right away and drive right away in the winter, or do you let it warm up? I let it warm up, so that's the way I have it. So what it does is, when the power goes out, and we'll show that the power goes out here, the generator will turn on. Everything's going to be dead here when the power goes out. The only thing with power is the circuit board on the generator, which is powered by the battery. That'll turn on, send power here, and wait to see whether the transfer switch turns on and sends back a signal saying, yeah, everything's okay, I'm getting the voltage, it's the correct voltage, everything looks good. And then, if that happens, the generator stays on, won't shut off, for an error, and then it'll transfer power over to your house. So it's a lot of safety. It really protects your appliances. Here are 2... I don't know if you can see them. These 2 lines go to the generator to see. This way, you can always know whether there's house power coming in the house, and that's really it. So we'll shut it off, and we'll see what happens. Okay, guys, power's out. Now this is the main power in the house. We'll shut it off. Okay, it's dark. Now we're gonna have to wait a little bit because it takes 10 seconds for the. This light. The generator went on. Now we're going to have to wait about 50 seconds. Ah, the light went on the transfer switch inside. So that means I'm getting power. And it's going to warm up. I have it set to 50 seconds. So hopefully the transfer switch will let it heat up 50 seconds and then turn on. It'll flip over. I should show you what part flips down, but right now we can't do that. So, okay, the generator is indicating no errors. There's power to the circuit board. That's positive. Let me get... Ah, something happened. Whoa. Okay, a little scary. Basically, the switch over here, you don't want to stick your fingers in this thing, but basically here, this switch here, this switch down. And now we're running on generator power. Okay, the lights are back on. Let me get my multimeter and let's check what's happening outside. We have power to everything, the boiler, we are set. We got the old fluke. Let's go back up, the lights are on, and let's see what's going on in the house. Okay, wait, don't turn on anything yet, guys. All right. Look. Hold the camera, come here. Look, I need your help. Look, come here. Look. Let's turn on the AC. Turn on the small AC in the kitchen. other one. I don't see. I think so. I think we're done.